How did you find that within the text?
What does Ruh minhu mean? Does it mean spirit from who?
Spirit from him.
Who's him? Who's him? Is it not true that those who die, if they're from the earth, like Adam from the dust, they go back to the dust, right? Like when your prophet died, they buried him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain to me, if Jesus is from the earth, why is it when it was time for him to leave the earth, he didn't go to the dust, he went to Allah from where he came? If he didn't come from Allah, why did he go back to Allah? Because you're saying camel of Allah means it belongs to Allah because he created it, to show that's what it means about Jesus. Okay. Can you show me where the Quran says the camel alqaha ila al-ard? The camel was sent down to the earth, ruh min, as a spirit from Allah.
No, it does not say this.
Does it say that about the house of Allah? Does it say Bayt Allah alqaha ila al-ard? It was sent down to the earth.
No, it does not say this.
But it does say that about Jesus, but still you're going to liken Jesus to the camel and to the house. Okay, now, go to chapter 4 of the Quran for me. Chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa. Okay. Chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa.
Yeah. Which verse?
Okay, read 171 for me.
Which verse?
I just said 171. Chapter 4, verse 171.
All right. Wait, one second.
All right, I'm giving you more than 1 second. 1, 1,000, 2, 2,000, 3, 3,000, 4, 5.
All right, yeah, then.
You got it?
Yeah, okay. O people of the scripture, do not commit excess in your religion or say about Allah except the truth. The Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, was but a messenger of Allah and his word, which he directed to Mary, and a soul from him.
Now,
so
correct. Do me a favor. Correct that mistranslation of the Arabic. You read the Arabic. It doesn't say soul. What does it literally say? Correct the Sahih.
English. I was reading the English translation. You want me to read the Arabic?
No, but hold on. You're reading Sahih International, right?
Okay.
I
skipped the parentheses.
No, yeah, but correct. It doesn't say soul. If you know Arabic, you know this word soul is nafs, and it doesn't say soul.
I don't know. Let me read the Arabic.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
If it's waruhun minhu.
Okay, now translate that literally for me.
A spirit from him.
Okay, thank you. Read it one more time slowly because you have people listening who don't know Arabic. I want you to confirm that what you just read in Sahih International did not translate the Arabic correctly. It doesn't say nafs. It says ruh. So it says Jesus is kalimatuhu alqaha illa Maryam, right?
Yeah, alqaha ila Maryam.
Okay, and then it says wa ruhin minhu, right?
Yeah.
Translate that for me. Literally, translate here. Let me tell you which part I want you to translate literally for people to follow. Wa kalimatuhu alqaha illa Maryam wa ruhin minhu. Translate that literally.
And his word delivered to Maryam.
Delivered? What does alqaha mean?
Alqaha means like delivered or casted. Or
Say, that's the part I see. Now I'm loving you because you're being honest. Cast.
What?
Cast, right?
That's the same. This is a synonym.
Okay, friend, you'll understand
delivered,
why. You can't, friend. If you stop arguing and just translate cast, you'll see why it's not a synonym, because words are defined in context.
Yeah, cast is good.
Okay, cast down to Miriam, right? Cast down to Miriam, a spirit from him, right? Cast
towards Maryam.
And a spirit from him, right?
Yeah, spirit from him.
Okay, here's my question, friend. Please answer the question. Please, my friend. I'm really trying to help you, and I don't want to. Yes. I don't want to put you on the spot because you're a young guy. But man, when people tap dance and don't answer, it bothers me. So please try to answer honestly. When it says his word, which he cast down from Mary and a spirit from him, please convince me that Jesus wasn't already existing with Allah before he came down to Mary as a spirit, because that's what the text just said.
How did you find that within the text?
What does Ruh minhu mean? Does it mean spirit from who?
Spirit from him.
Who's him? Who's him?
Allah.
Okay, so he's a spirit from Allah, and then you just said his word which he cast down to Mary. If I cast something down, that means it has to be up, right?
It doesn't necessarily have to be. It has to be from one point to another.
Yes, it has to be, because it says cast down, which is why it says a spirit from him. So he came down. He was cast down from Allah as a spirit that entered Mary to become flesh. It's right there in front of you, dude. It's right there, man. If I bring a blind man, he's going to see it.
So what are you trying to say here?
I'm not saying anything about what your verse just said. Your verse just said Jesus was there as a spirit with Allah as his word, and then he came down to Mary. So now, how in the world are you going to convince me that Jesus is just a man?
He is just a man. Okay, so what
was he when he was with Allah? What was he when he was with Allah before he came to Mary?
It says he is the word of Allah.
It just said kalimatuhu, his word, Allah's word.
Sorry, your voice is cracking. He's the,
right?
Yeah, Allah's word. He's Allah's word.
Okay, so what was he before he came down? What was he before he came down?
The word of Allah. He's still the word of Allah.
So what was he? It's right there. It's telling you, friend. It's right there. A spirit. So how can you convince me he's just a man when you just said he was there with Allah as his word, as a spirit? So before he became man, he was already existing as a spirit with Allah because he was his word. So now convince me he's just a man. What you just read from your own Quran, that's all he is. So okay, it seems that when it says water from minhu, you think that means that he was existing with Allah? I don't need to think that. You just, do we need to go through this again? I don't need to think that. The text says, kalimatuhu alqaha. Do you understand why I said translate alqaha? That came down, and he came down as a spirit from him. That's the text. It's right there.
So the angels gave the word to Maryam that...
Show me where the angels gave the word to Maryam, meaning Jesus. That the word they gave to Maryam was Jesus. They announced to Mary she's going to give birth to the word. That's not what the text says. It says Jesus is the word that came down.
When we say he is a spirit from Allah, or the word of Allah, we say the word of Allah because Allah said kun fayakun.
You sure you want to go there? I want to make you think about it before you go there. You sure you want to use that argument? So I'm being nice.
Okay, wait. Let me go to the spirit part right now.
Yeah.
So when he is specifically called the spirit from Allah, this is like how we understand the house of Allah, the camel of Allah. He is a special spirit.
Can you stop
from Allah.
parroting the Salafi arguments, because I want to demolish those arguments? I've heard your arguments. I've heard your arguments. Okay. No, it's not like Bait Allah. That's not like, it's like Rahma. It's like Rahman, Rahim. It's like Ruh Allah. So you're comparing two different categories as if they're the same. Yes, I've heard the argument. It's like the camel of Allah or the house of Allah. No, it's not like that. It's like the Rahmah of Allah. It's like the word of Allah. It's not like something created that belongs to Allah. It's one of the characteristics of Allah himself. Guy, I've heard your arguments. Please don't repeat arguments I've already heard, been there, done that. So I'm going to ask you the question now. I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
You just said that the reason why Jesus is God's word because he was created by the command of Allah, kun fayakun. You just said that, right?
Yes.
Okay. You sure you want to use that argument? Because I'm telling you, I've heard your arguments. I've heard your Muslim scholars. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born the day before. So I have an advantage. But anyway, you sure you want to use that argument? So I'm going to give you a minute to think about how bad of an argument that is.
Yes, this is what the understanding of it is.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that in chapter 3, verse 59 of the Quran, where Allah likens Jesus to Adam, that Allah said to Adam, kun fayakun, be, and he was. So he said that to Adam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now
So
I'm going to challenge you.
He's also...
I'm going to challenge you. Quote a single verse in your Quran or Hadith where Adam is called the word of Allah.
There is none.
Okay, but wait, your logic. Let me play your logic. You said Jesus is the word of Allah because he was created by Allah's word. That means Adam should be called the word of Allah because he was created by Allah's word, but still he's not called the word of Allah. So because that's not the meaning. That's not the meaning.
Okay, so you want it to be specifically said with everyone that
no, I'm trying to use your argument. So don't change your argument. Your argument was, let me repeat your argument. See, again, you're not even listening to your own argument. Your argument was, can I repeat your argument? So everyone got how you just set yourself up. Your argument was, Jesus is God's word because Allah created him by his command, kun fayakun. Well, hold on. Adam was created by Allah's command, kun fayakun, and he's not called the word of Allah. Why not, if your argument is right?
He is the word of Allah too. It just
Where?
doesn't say it.
You can no. You cannot add to the Quran and the Sunnah of your prophet. The only prophet that your own prophet called Kalimat Allah, Ruh Allah, which is in the Ahadith, is Jesus. Your prophet never said of anyone else, not even Adam, he's Kalimat Allah or Ruh Allah. He said Isa ibn Maryam, Kalimat Allah, Ruh Allah. So don't add to your prophet. Okay. Don't add to his words.
The verse that says he is just like Inna Kamathali Isa Kamathali Adam. That verse.
No, that actually backfires against you.
They're similar.
That actually backfires against you. You know why? Because in making that argument, Muhammad again showed that he's not a true prophet, because that's one of the worst arguments Muhammad could make. Because if that's true, Muhammad, that Jesus is like Adam and that Adam was made from dust, kun fayakun, then Adam should be the word of Allah and a spirit from him. But wait, Muhammad, you forgot. Adam is not said to be a spirit from him or Allah's word which he cast down into the dust. So that argument shows Muhammad doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a bad argument because that backfires.
You don't understand. I'm telling you, he is also the word of Allah. It just doesn't say. It says in that verse, he's just like.
Do not add to the words of your prophet. Do not add to the words of your prophet. Your prophet could have said that Adam is Kalimat Allah, Ruh Min. But I guess he forgot because he was waiting for you to come in the 21st century to help him make that point. Please don't add to the words of your prophet. Unless you can quote your prophet saying Adam is Kalimat Allah, Ruh Min, don't add to the words of your prophet, because your prophet could have said it. He could have simply said, hey, Adam Kalimat Allah. Did he forget, or did Allah forget to tell him?
Against you. Let me use this argument against you.
Please, I want you to.
So, since the Quran is called the Furqan, it is the criteria by which we should judge. That means the Torah should also be called this. The Injil should also be called this.
The Torah is called the Furqan. My friend,
but I don't find it in the Quran.
No. This backfired against you. You didn't hear what I said. The revelation of Moses is called the Furqan. So your argument just imploded in your face.
No,
it's called Furqan. I'm going to embarrass you again. Go to chapter 40, verses 53. See, you're not listening. The more you open your mouth, the more I'm going to end up embarrassing you. The word Furqan, you want me to finish it? The word Furqan is used of the revelation of Moses. That's what you just said. Well, that means the Torah should be called. Go to 40. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
All right, so then you just show me the argument
for the Zabur, the Sufi.
Are you going to talk over? No. Hey. Calm down. Breathe. That backfired against you. You embarrassed yourself.
What verse?
You embarrassed yourself. Let me explain why. Because you said, well, the Quran's called Furqan, so the Torah should be in the God. But the Torah is, okay. I agree the Torah, but now show me the gospel. The fact that something, can I finish the point? Can I finish the point before you embarrass yourself further? The fact that something other than the Quran is called Furqan proved my point. That means Adam could have also been called the word of Allah. He isn't. So booyah, it busted in your face.
No, it did not. You did
Let's repeat this again. Is something other than the Quran? Is something other than the Quran called Furqan? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is the Torah also called the Furqan? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So then you just made my point. Allah could have also called Adam the word of Allah besides Jesus. He didn't. So it just busted and imploded in your face. You don't see that?
No, I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that because there's someone else called the Furqan, something else called the Furqan.
That was your argument, man. Dude, you know that's your argument?
That's your argument.
No, that's your argument. You just said everyone heard you. Oh, my goodness. My goodness.
No, I understand your argument. You're
No,
trying to say
you're
that
the one who
because
made
it's
the
not
argument.
a second word of Allah
No,
named
you.
inside the
Oh
Quran.
man, listen, dude. You made the argument. Let me repeat what you said. You brought up Furqan. I didn't bring up Furqan. You said, hey, the Quran is called Furqan. Well, does that mean the Torah and the Gospel and Zabur are not called Furqan because it's never used of that? I said, no, it is. It's used of the Torah. So the very argument you used backfired against you and proved my point. Just like, can I finish the point? Just like the Torah is also called Furqan, not just the Quran. Likewise, Allah could have called Adam the word of Allah like he did Jesus. So the argument you used proved my point and imploded in your face. Aren't you getting it?
No, it didn't. It didn't. You want me to tell you why? This is silly, man. Okay, because
yeah, it is silly. Your arguments are silly.
Scripture. I told you all of the scriptures are called the same exact thing, but they're not all called.
No, you can't.
But
No, don't add to that. No. You're not Muhammad. You can't tell me what the scriptures are called unless Muhammad tells you. Stop adding to the words of your prophet. All you can tell me is Torah is Furqan, Quran is Furqan, and that's all. Don't go beyond what your prophet said. So now, don't go beyond what your prophet said. Show me that Adam is the word of Allah and a spirit from him.
That is proof.
Show me where in that verse says, because Adam is kun fayakun, that he too is the word of Allah. The very verse you're using actually proves my point again. Show that to me.
It doesn't explicitly say he's the word of Allah.
Say it again. I want to say it again. Wait. Say it out loud so everyone hears it.
It doesn't explicitly say he's the word of Allah. Okay. That's what you're asking.
Even though in that same chapter that you read, Jesus is explicitly said to be the word of Allah, because in chapter 3, verse 45, in the very chapter where Jesus is likened to Adam, in that same chapter, Jesus is again called the word of Allah in chapter 3, verse 45. But in that chapter, Adam is still not called the word of Allah. Wow. Go to chapter 3, read verse 45. Chapter 3, verse 45.
All right, yeah, I got it.
Read it for me, please.
And mention when the angel said, O Mary, indeed Allah gives you good tidings of a word from him, whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, distinguished in this world and the hereafter and among those brought near to Allah. Okay.
Now, when it says kalimatin minhu. Okay. Now, you know about Arabic grammar. I think you do because you're reading the Arabic, and I'll give you the benefit out. We know that kalimat is feminine noun, right? That doesn't mean it's a woman. It just means that it's feminine noun, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the word for whose name, what is it in Arabic? Whose name is? What is that in Arabic? Say it so everyone can hear you. No, the word where it says, a word from him, whose name? In Arabic, that phrase, whose name is what?
Ismuhu.
Okay, ismuhu, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that feminine or masculine?
This is feminine.
No, read it again. Ismuhu is not feminine, it's masculine.
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't really even know about the whole feminine, masculine
thing. Okay, now here's the point. Kalimat is feminine. It's a feminine noun. But the word ismuhu is masculine. Why would the grammar of the Arabic change where you have a feminine noun, but the word here is masculine? Because the rules of Arabic grammar means that if it's a feminine noun, then that phrase should have been feminine, but instead it's masculine. And I'll explain to you why. Because this word is becoming an actual person. The word is a male named Jesus. He is the word is him. That's why it goes from a feminine noun to using the masculine form of his name, showing that the word is an actual person and not simply created by God's command. You aware of this?
Okay. I'm not familiar with this topic of feminine, masculine, Arabic. I'm not really familiar. So I'm
okay, that's fine.
On this.
Put it aside. Okay, but let's keep it on that point though, so we don't lose you here. Since in this very chapter, again, Jesus is said to be the word from Allah, in the very chapter where he's likened to Adam, why is it Allah goes out of his way to say Jesus is the word, but still falls short of saying Adam is the word? Why can't he make it explicit?
Because this is Allah's choice. We don't know why.
You should know why. You should know why, because the Quran says that it is a book that explains everything in detail. How come Allah forgot to explain this in detail?
I mean, when you look at certain prophets, they have certain nicknames given to them specifically for them that could be applied to others.
My brother in
So
humanity,
this is just,
my brother in humanity, you're making my point. Every prophet may have a unique title and characteristic because he had a unique function. You know, you're making my point. Jesus has unique titles because he's unique and different from these other prophets in this respect. But you're arguing the opposite. You're saying Adam is also the word of Allah and therefore can be called that. But you just made the argument each prophet has a unique title. Yes, so now you're making my case. Jesus is uniquely called the word of Allah. No one else, not even Adam. So what point are you trying to make?
okay, so if you look at the whole Quran in general, there's verses that clearly dispute what you're trying to get at, that say he's just a man. He is a normal human being who was just a messenger.
Okay, my friend, you understand? Listen to what I'm saying. You understand that I don't believe the Quran is perfect and that it's full of contradictions. And I'm showing you the problems with your Quran so that you can see. So yes, I know the Quran is going to say Jesus is but a servant. But then I'm telling you, how can he be but a servant when he comes down from Allah as his word and as a spirit? Aren't you getting the point that your book is full of contradictions?
This is what you're adding on to it. None of this is said.
I added on to 4171? I added in? 4171 is not in your Quran?
That does not say all the stuff you're saying, man.
Wait, hold on. So if I say to you, hold on. Okay. Oh, wait. Let's go. I say to you, the Quran, kalimatuhu alqaha illa Muhammad. The Quran is Allah's word cast down to Muhammad. Would you deny the Quran came from Allah from above the seven heavens?
It did.
Say it again.
It did.
It did. But that's my point. If I were to use that phrase for the Quran, kalimatuhu alqaha illa Muhammad. His word cast down to Muhammad. You say, yes, the Quran came from Allah above the seven heavens. But when that language is used for Jesus, no, it can't mean that. Why the inconsistency?
Because you're basically trying to get at that it's like coming from the clouds, it's coming down to the earth. And like this is not
where did the Quran come from?
Someone, it doesn't mean like it's physically on its way. It just means it's here, it's revealed.
So you mean the Quran wasn't above the clouds somehow? It was just revealed. So the Quran didn't come from Allah from above the seven. It's not a speech. It's not in the mother of the book.
It did.
It what?
It did, but it's necessitate that it has to come from the sky and fall down. The Quran
so where did the Quran come from then?
The earth.
Where did it come from if it didn't come from Allah above the seven heavens?
It was given to the angel Jibreel.
And where's Jibreel? Is Jibreel above the clouds? Is he above the clouds, Jibreel? Is he in heaven somewhere?
Yeah, but he comes to earth.
So we're back to square one. The Quran does come from above the seven heavens because you have an angel who's within the seven heavens who takes the Quran and brings it down to the earth. So we're back to square one. So where did Jesus come from?
You know how this argument can be destroyed easily?
Please destroy it.
There were some verses where the prophet had a vision or he heard a bell sound and the angel didn't come. So
okay, but you said Gabriel. Friend, do you understand you're refuting yourself? You mentioned Gabriel. I didn't mention Gabriel. Why'd you mention Gabriel?
You're saying it has to come from the heavens to the
earth.
No,
you said the Quran is from above. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try. Maybe my English is not too clear. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Is the Quran actually with Allah on a tablet?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Is the Quran actually with Allah on a tablet?
Yeah. I haven't read too much about those hadiths. I've heard of this, but
okay. So then, friend, again, then why are you arguing about points you're not certain of? Because the Islamic view is the Quran is there with Allah on a tablet called Kitab, the mother of the book, and it came down above the seven heavens to the lowest heaven in the month of Ramadan, and from there, Jibreel alayhi salam revealed it piecemeal to your prophet over 23 years. I don't want to be teaching your religion. But now let's put that aside. Okay, let's put that aside. Forget about it. Since we now agree the Quran is the word of Allah, that's there with Allah above the seven heavens. Since Jesus is the word of Allah that's said to have come down as a spirit, prove to me he wasn't there before he entered the womb of Mary.
Dude, I just went through this argument with you.
Okay, we're getting nowhere. But now, let me further prove to you, Jesus is from Allah, according to your Quran, not from the earth. Is it not true that those who die, if they're from the earth, like Adam from the dust, they go back to the dust, right? Like when your prophet died, they buried him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain to me, if Jesus is from the earth, why is it when it was time for him to leave the earth, he didn't go to the dust, he went to Allah from where he came? If he didn't come from Allah, why did he go back to Allah?
Because he didn't die.
That didn't answer the question.
No, he didn't die. Allah saved
even
him
that doesn't
and
answer
brought
the
him
question.
up.
That's a debate whether he didn't die or not. What I'm saying is, why didn't he die? And why did he go back to Allah? Why didn't Allah simply have him die and have him return to the dust if he's from the earth?
So this is, Allah doesn't have to do this. Allah can do whatever he wants. He can bring him up.
That's a nice cop-out answer.
Back.
I mean, that's a nice cop-out answer. I mean, that's how we tap dance around issues that we can't answer, but you're not listening. According to your own Quran, the Quran is a book that explains everything in detail. It leaves nothing for guesswork because Allah will explain everything that is mentioned in the Quran in detail. I'll give you the verses to show that. So then if Allah wanted me to know that Jesus is not from him, and that's why he returned to him, then why didn't Allah cause Jesus to die and return him to the dust?
Allah gives the answer.
Where?
And Allah raised him up to himself.
Why? That's my question. Why?
To save him from the crucifixion.
Okay, so but why did Allah save Jesus from the crucifixion when you just read an ayah that said the Bani Israel killed many prophets? So why save this prophet from killing him and take him to heaven when other prophets he allowed them to be killed by Bani Israel?
Because when the Dajjal comes, he's gonna come and kill the anti.
What does that got to do with? What
complete.
Does that got to do with Allah allowing prophets to be killed, and yet for some reason he doesn't allow Jesus to be killed? Because he could allow Jesus to be killed and raise him and send them back alive. Because even in your Quran, don't you have resurrection of dead people, people who died and were raised?
Yes.
So why didn't Allah simply have Jesus killed like all the other prophets, then raise him to life and send them back at the end to kill the Dajjal, even though that's not in the Quran? So you're not answering questions, you're creating more problems because now you introduced another problem.
Are you claiming that Allah is, he doesn't, there's no way he can let him just live?
No,
are you trying to say that
that's not what, don't change
he
your
has
argument.
to do it one way?
No, don't change your argument. My argument is, if Jesus comes from Allah, then it makes sense he went back to Allah. And what do we find? He went back to Allah because 4171 says that's where he came from. He didn't come from the earth like your prophet or Adam. He came from Allah as a spirit and went back to where he came from. You understand my point now?
Look, I understand what you're trying to get at. I think you understand what I'm trying to say now.
I don't know what you're trying to say, to be honest. You're all over the place.
No, I'm telling you, Allah could have done that if Allah wanted to, but he didn't. Are we to question?
No, we are to meditate and venture into what the Quran says and why it says it to understand the point of the Quran, unless you believe the Quran is a book of mishmash, incoherent babble. Is the Quran meant to be understood, or is the Quran a book of misguidance and confusion?
Okay, but do you understand what I'm getting at when I say that Allah
I
can
perfectly understand what you're saying, and I'm turning it back against you, saying, friend, if the Quran mentions something, that means it's for you to understand what it's saying, why it's saying it, because the Quran says it's a book that explains everything in detail. It explains all things fully and completely. This is the repeated assertion of the Quran. That means if I believe your Quran, I have to believe that when Jesus comes from Allah as a spirit and returns to Allah, that's going to be a point that I'm supposed to understand and derive some teaching from, because the Quran is supposedly a book of guidance, not misguidance, that provides absolute, fully detailed exposition of everything it mentions.
Okay. But the argument you used has no relevance to that point.
It has a lot to do, because it shows me Jesus is no mere man. that he's the eternal word who became flesh, agreeing with the Gospel of John?
No.
Tell me, okay, of the Gospels, okay, hold on, okay. Of the Gospels in the New Testament, which Gospel says Jesus is the Word of God that became flesh? Is that Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John? Which of the Gospels?
This is John.
And so why is the Quran agreeing with John and saying Jesus is the Word of Allah that came down as a spirit to Mary if John's Gospel is wrong?
Doesn't say came down.
You just read it. Alqaha illa Maryam, for the love of God. You just admitted it means cast down.
No. Did you understand what I was saying when it doesn't have to come from the heavens above to the earth? It doesn't always mean that.
Okay, friend, I told you it has to mean that because then it says a spirit from him. What else does the Quran need to say to you? That he did come down from Allah, which is why it says a spirit, because when he was with Allah, he wasn't physical. He was a spirit that came down from Allah to become physical by entering Mary. I mean, man, it's right there. 4171, oh my goodness. It's right in front of your eyes, man. Oh my goodness.
The camel, when it says the camel.
Can you show me where it says the camel? Okay, let's play that game.
It means
let's play your game.
Allah created.
Yeah, okay, let's play your game. Show me where it says the camel, alqaha ila al-ard. The camel was sent down to the earth. Ruh min. Show me where the Quran says that about the camel.
It just doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
Wait, say it again. I want people to hear you. Even though
that.
camel of Allah, what you want? Well, I'm trying to let them understand.
It does not say this.
Camel of Allah, because you're saying camel of Allah means it belongs to Allah because He created it, to show that's what it means about Jesus. Okay, can you show me where the Quran says the camel alqaha ila al-ard? The camel was sent down to the earth. Ruh min, as a spirit from Allah. Can you? It doesn't say that about the camel, right? It doesn't say that about.
It does not say this.
Does it say that about the house of Allah? Does it say Bayt Allah alqaha ila al-ard? It was sent down to the earth.
No, it does not say this.
But it does say that about Jesus. But still, you're going to liken Jesus to the camel and to the house.
Okay.